Oh, g'day gang. So, it's an old Cressida. What model is it? It's a 1984 Cressida. That's why it was here. I've got the head off it because it has corroded through the head gasket. Now, I've mentioned before, if you've been watching for a while, that I always put 3J, aviation glue, Indian shellac, whatever you want to call it, the soft stuff. I always put it around the galleries to stop the corrosion between that happens between the cylinder head gasket and the coolant. And I've had so many people saying, oh no, you've got a copper coat, copper coat, copper coat, copper coat, copper coat is the only thing. Well, here's the gold gasket. And as we look around, what do we see? Oh, I do believe that's copper coat. Yeah, you can see it. There's copper coat all over it. Yep. So there we go. When this goes back together, she's going to have the 3 bond on her. I'm just about to pull the front off and replace that little tensioner pulley and the chain and the guides. And that's going to be a bunch of fun. Yep. But that's what it's all about. There we go. Replace the little tensioner. There's the old one. You see it's just all munted. Gave the guys, that's the chain, a tensioner and guides off his other engine that he gave us to rebuild. Wait till I give you a look at that. This one to send away for that other vehicle. This is another engine the guy sent. He wanted us to actually rebuild this one for him, but I think she's a bit beyond it. Yeah, so new seal in this one that was leaking. New seal, silicon. Not a lot of it squirting everywhere. You know the deal. You know the deal. Yeah. Okay. Here's another one from the old habits die hard. I never clean the pistons down. I mean, I see so many people just get in there with sandpaper and they like sand it all down so it's like a mirror finish. And they take all the... Back in the day, if you removed the carbon off the top of the piston, chances were that car was going out with less compression than it came in with. Same goes for these things, you know. That's, you know, 0.5 millimetre of stuff on there. I mean, that's going to boost the compression up just a smidgen. I never scrape down pistons. Never wash them down. And I never go sandpaper all over this. I'll tell you exactly what I do. I have my, you've seen it before, this is my scraper, which is an old power hacksaw blade. The blades have all been ground off it and it's been shortened in some years. All I ever do, I'll just start to scrape it. Scrape it, scrape it, scrape it, scrape it. Like this, now you can see it's still leaving all that stuff, what looks like it's leaving all that muck behind. But your finger is going to be the judge. If I can't feel it, it's not there. So I go around and I feel where I've just been. I feel a bit, there's a bit just there. It's a little in the way. Give that. I'm telling you, it'll be clean as you'll ever need it. I never go in there with sandpaper and you know, you end up just doing more damage. Scraper's all you want. So get a good scraper. Get yourself a... If you can go to an engineer shop, say, listen, have you got any old power hacksaw blades in your bin? Can I have one? I'm sure he'll let you have one. If other mechanics haven't snapped them up. But that's what you want to do. And you want to put a nice edge on it. Flatten one side. Not too steep. Put a nice edge. Yep, that's what I do. There you go, we're wiped out. Wiped down. Blown out in the bolt holes for the head. I don't normally chase the threads unless it's an old Holden or old Chevy or something like that. But that's ready to accept the gasket now. So what I'm going to do is reassemble the cylinder head. Puts a nice shine on it, doesn't it? Not sure about that though. Not absolutely sure about that. I don't know what's happened. I'm only going to guess that the tool, when it's come down, is caught on the edge of on the edge of that little raised section there, and munted it somewhat. Now I've gone around and cleaned out. There was a couple of burrs in there. And I've kind of got her out the best I could, but if she starts to rattle, we'll know why. The head guy says that's fine, but you know, just looks a bit sketchy to me. I only use that brown stuff on the head gaskets, and I only use head gaskets. And on cylinder heads on the water ports, where you've got the water, especially on the inlet, we'll put a bit of silicone on there. Oh dear. Must be a carbureted model, mate. Or something else. I'll just check to see where those holes line up with. I'll just swap this is the same head that come off it, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the one from there.
Is this the one that come off the other head, off the other engine?
Oh no,
this is the one off this.
Engine, yeah.
So well, that's just a different. This is another. Maybe there's another gasket in there. So there we go. It's going to be that. Let's see a bit of this stuff. Screw out with the old pingle. Get the manifold back on it. And get it back on the car. That was a fair bit of prepping up for that head to get that gaskets and stuff. You can read that on my gasket. Just looks like, you know, that. And we put it around all the water galleries, both sides of the head gasket. We're not going around the bore, just around here. We don't miss any. Get them all. Oh. So that's going to happen to all of them, and then we're going to put the gasket on. Now look at that. That's a brass or copper insert. Hey? What are they trying to remedy, you think? Well, they needed just give us some of that with the kit. Never have a problem. But yeah, obviously they recognise the issue. They've tried to solve the problem. I use the word tried, but I'm still putting it on. I don't care. So I've torqued it all down as per, and look, there's not one torque to yield bolt. These are the old head bolts. What a nice thing. And look, they're not hydraulic lash. I've actually got to set these buggers. I've got to find out what that is. But my point here is that I've torqued the head down to the specific, probably 85, closer to 85 more than 83. But here's the thing, I've been through this before with you blokes. 1, 2, 3, where are we? 3, 4, 5, 6, crisscrossing over that. Just go round and round and round. Just go round and round. I've been doing it like that forever. And again, it hasn't given me any grief. So if it works, I'll keep doing it. Going to get onto the valve lash now. It's on top dead centre number 1. It damn well should be. There's the crank marker. If you want to see that one there. If you have a look here, you can see that that's where top dead centre number, or that's where number 1 cylinder is. This is on top number 1. We have a little marker there. It lines up, it corresponds with that little pin there. And as I go back and forth with the engine, we should see these two on the rock, and we do. As soon as we see it, just as the crossover, right there, we'll adjust these two up here. And the exhaust is always going to be the largest gap. It has the smallest valve. And the largest gap there is plenty. So we'll close him up. And this fella, he's tight. So I'm going to have to go through all those, loosen and tighten, whichever ones need what. And the lash will be done. Can you see there? I think you can. You never need to do that lock nut up dead set too tight. It doesn't need to be tight. We need the 14, or sorry, the 35 or whatever it was. Just going to poke him in there. Just going to run that down a little bit. Well, we just put a little bit of turn on the screw. And that feels pretty snug there. Hold the screwdriver tight. Tighten that up, that's plenty. Have a feel. If it's loose, if it just feels like it could go a bit more, you can back this off. Just back the lock nut off. Just a little bit. And as you tighten it, pull the screwdriver around. Just that little bit. And that will give you just that little bit extra. That's nice. That's nice. Yep. And we'll do that with all of them. Time consuming, probably why they went to hydraulic lifters, but it's part of the game. Okay, on with the next one. So what we're going to watch for is we're going to do number 5, which means we need to get number 2 rocking. That's these two here. So let's watch those get into that rocking zone here. I'm just turning the engine with a breaker bar. The exhaust is closing up, and inlet is just starting to open right there. See that? You can see it. Okay, now we adjust these ones up there. Well, looky. Got a few more things to go on yet. Throttle cable, some vacuum hoses, some pipes and some things. Waiting on spark plugs, waiting on a plenum gasket. But boy oh boy, like, didn't Toyota really screw it up? Just overcomplicated with pipes and hoses and solenoids and just yeah. Anyway, just about there. Looks like it should, I expect. Oh dear, nobody supplies a gasket for here. Well, that means old school. we'll make one. That'll do us. A little punch out with the hammer job. They'll get us by just fine. Well, spark plug time. You can see some grease there, you know why. There's a big debate on whether you should put anything on the threads, the anti-seize or anything. Well, I put a little bit of grease on there, about like that, because I'd rather this thing be free in the thread than to snap off or seize up or something like that. And most spark plug boxes will tell you here that you turn him by hand and then turn it the same X amount of turns. What was that? 1/16, is it? Whatever it says there. It tells you somewhere. Anyway, again, so if you screw it in by hand and then you go that, 2/3 of a turn or whatever it is, somewhere around there, I think. I just feel it by hand. But at any rate, that's where we're at. Well, gang, there she is, the bloody Spaghetti Express. Haven't put any of that in there yet because that's got a leak, so I might end up with some water in it. But let's see what happens. We hit the key. That's a success, that one. Have ourselves a good one. Cheers. Is it rev at all? Yep. All good.